Hi, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of Two Girls, One Doc.
One Doc.
It's your girl, BD.
It's your girl, 4Ns. Lockdown
And
edition.
we're back. Lockdown edition for the foreseeable future. Luckily for us, we had pre-recorded some episodes. We were good up until the beginning of April.
Good thing you mentioned that, because people have been coming and saying to me, "Oh, I'm so happy you guys live together, and you can still record." And I just want to explain because I don't want people to think that we're breaking lockdown for this podcast. We love you lots, but not that much. We had pre-recorded quite a few. I think it was 2.
And I'm so happy that we did. Yeah, I'm so happy that
because we had another thing that was going to mean we couldn't record, so we pre-recorded 2, so we were good up until last week. This is our first week of actual remote recording.
Exactly. So it's good. It feels good to record again and to be safe in our houses.
Yes, and to have survived the virus. For those of us who survived.
Boy.
Yeah.
What are we drinking today? Today we're drinking some water.
We're drinking H2O.
H to Izzo. H to the Izzo.
It's been distilled from Tesco's tap, I think, because...
Boy, you're even fancy. Mine is tap water. But I actually love my tap water from my house. The other tap water.
I don't like it. Do you know what I deeped? I don't like creamy water. If you're a water drinker, you'll know what I mean.
Either hard or soft.
I don't know what... I don't know.
Either hard or soft.
I don't know if it's hard or soft.
You'll know what I mean.
I'm talking about the taste. The taste, I like the sharp taste of water, and you usually get that with Kirkland. And the only other water I found that I really like is still Scottish Mountain Water by Sainsbury's. Anything else just has it doesn't have a sharp taste, and that's what I'm looking for. So...
Okay, in this episode, we are going to be talking about the documentary Behind the Curve.
Yes.
Which is on Netflix. It was made in 2018. And it's about flat earthers. And if you don't know what flat earthers is, by the end of this, you will know.
Yeah.
You will know.
I feel like we had very differing opinions on this doc.
I really enjoyed this documentary.
Yeah.
I thought this is one of the shadiest documentaries I've ever seen in my life.
It was, from obviously the director's point of view. I was just shady. A lot of times I was just what am I watching? What the fuck are they talking about? And why? I knew I didn't enjoy it because I found myself picking up my phone, which with all a lot of the other documentaries we do, I don't. I'm actually watching it.
To be fair, because I watched it twice. So the first time I watched it, I was actually making a wig at the time. So I was making the wig and looking at it, watching it, blah, 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 blah. So it wasn't my 100% focus, but I enjoyed it. I did find that when I was watching it again to do the notes on it, it was a bit this is taking a while. But I did enjoy it just because of the shady nature of the thingy.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, let's get into it so the people can know. So it opens up with this guy, some middle-aged white guy. He's wearing a Flat Earth Army t-shirt, and just spoiler alert, throughout this whole documentary he's wearing different variations of Flat Earth t-shirts. They all have Flat Earth related something
memorabilia,
merch in it. That's what he's on.
He looks like someone famous, but I couldn't put my finger on it. He looks like a bad version of someone famous. If that
when
person
you have money,
broke.
boy, you look good.
And he looks like what you'd expect, a man who probably lives in his mum's basement to look like.
Yes,
I just want to say that.
Yes.
That's what you'd expect. And he behaves that way as well. Not just in the
flat as well.
Not just in the flat earth way, but his whole life is just
in a general way.
But then I was thinking, I think he's on the spectrum. Do you get that vibe?
No, I don't think he is. I think he's fully conscious and he fully knows what it is that he's doing, and this is just how he is.
Okay, we'll discuss why I think that later.
Yeah. Okay. So the documentary opens up with him basically asking us, where are you right now?
You think you're in a globe spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. That globe is spinning around the sun at 60,000 plus miles an hour.
Basically just going on about things that are true. Yeah. And then basically says, in reality, you're actually in a giant planetarium. Basically saying that everything that you've ever heard is not true. This world is not, the earth is not a globe. We actually live, his model is a snow globe. And we are the flat circle on the bottom of the snow globe.
Yeah.
And then there's a dome, which anyway, we just get into the bullshit. But basically, he talks with vim. This guy speaks I'm telling you the truth. Oh, you stupid people, look at what you believe.
Yeah. He talks how we talk to them. So he talks to us how we, how you'd expect someone to talk to a flat earther.
We both feel the same way about each other. Yeah, exactly.
We see each other.
Nothing will change. We see each other. So we see him again at his mum's house, who we established that he lives with, and he tells us that he's Mark Sargent, and we get his lower third, which says King of Flat Earthers. What's a title?
Can we just speak a bit more about the mum's house? Because it's not just that we see him at his mum's house. Okay, so let's be clear. So this dude looks 45, and like the opening scene with him and his mum is like his mum's in the kitchen cooking for him, and so what we having, and it's like chicken. She's like chicken noodle soup, iced applesauce, and I had to Google that, and I was like, what the fuck is iced applesauce? Like these people just be eating any and everything, and then rolls, and then she was like rolls. So I'm assuming the rolls are to accompany the soup, and this guy has the audacity to ask his mum, "Are the rolls homemade?" And I'm like,
go to your own home.
Literally,
homemade.
I hate men. And his mum is Patty Sargent, and she's like, "Oh yes, they're homemade along with jam." And I'm just like, you are enabling him. Like, what the fuck?
But she's been enabling him. At this point, she's just maintaining what she's the precedent she set.
Because even she's cooking it, she's like, "Oh, I'm making your childhood favourite." And I'm like, this man is old enough to have 4 kids, and one of them should be in university. What are you talking about? Like,
boy. It's actually mad.
It's embarrassing.
We see this animation where there's all these books of like conspiracy theories. There's like Area 51, Denver Airport, like the moon landing, all that stuff, yeah. And the last one is, if you can see Forenz's face
If you can see my face.
The last one is the flat earth. And then his mum is like, I do think he gets a little off for some of the conspiracies.
A little? Sis. Batshit crazy.
He's, yeah.
Can I just say that I love the animation because it highlights the ridiculousness,
how stupid
of
it is.
What they're
and that's
saying.
What I mean by how
very
shady the directors were. Like, I think is that they approached the flat earth people, or maybe the flat earth people approached them, I don't know, to say, let's do this documentary about flat earth. And so they were thinking, oh my god, like this is to spread the word about flat earth, and this is to make people believe in flat earth and all that stuff. But what they were basically doing all along was, this flat earth is bullshit. Let's just show you how these dumb people think. Yeah. And so when they were recording the documentary, obviously they don't know who else they're interviewing and stuff. So Mark Sargent probably thinks, oh my god, like they're making a documentary about me. But in reality, they're just using you to highlight the stupidity of your mantra. Yeah. Which is so shady and so funny.
Yeah, literally. I love it.
That's the best thing about the documentary. So Mark says that he became a flat earther because he tried to debunk flat earth, but he couldn't. Like, just because you're not able to debunk something, that doesn't make it true. It just means you yourself are unable to debunk it.
Yeah, leave it to somebody like who's a professional and move on to something next. It doesn't then mean you need to then embody that thing, because
it doesn't mean because I couldn't prove it was false, it must be true.
But it's funny because they speak about this in the like rest of the doc.
I love the talking heads that they have on this documentary. It makes so much sense.
It does. It's very related to the subject matter.
Yes. So Mark has a YouTube channel. I actually went on his YouTube channel.
Did you?
And he's still thriving. Yeah. He has 85.4 thousand subscribers, and he still puts out videos.
Really?
Yeah. He's still doing his thing. Damn. He got famous, or he became the king of flat earth, quotation marks, because he first put out these series of videos called Flat Earth Clues. And then each one would be like a clue as to why the earth is flat. Anyway, bullshit.
And it's just like, can I just say the opening gambit of like why the earth is flat is because you can see Seattle. Like if you're like what do you
if you're in Houston and you're standing and you can see Seattle over the thing.
Do you think that scientists haven't like? Do you think it's that simple? Basically, are you so like?
Yeah, exactly. Like over the years, nobody ever thought of and the thing is that like even the earth is a globe, but the earth is a globe, right? And like you do think that like. I don't understand what you understand by curvature to think that you standing in one place you shouldn't be able to see something else that is not that far away from you.
I think he
relative to the size of the earth.
I think he literally thinks that it's a globe. So like if you walk down the road, you
can walk somewhere else. You should be in another country. I cannot.
I hate it here. Let us out. Open the outside.
I miss outside so much. You know what? I don't know if it's that I miss outside or I miss being able to go outside.
I miss the option. Like, at least before when I was just sleeping in my bed, that was my... Option. This is under duress. One is like...
Do you know, that I'm convinced that my bum is getting flatter because I've been sitting down so
100%.
Much. Honestly.
100%.
Like, honestly.
Literally.
And no amount of squats can bring it back.
No, don't say that. You just need
I've given up.
cornbread and squats.
Some cornbread.
Listen, literally, like, I feel like this is, like, without consent. Like, I'm not consenting to being inside this long. At least before, when I was turning down link-ups, like, that was my personal choice. Like,
It was my choice.
Bam.
I had autonomy over my body. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's mad.
It's mad. But now we are at the California Institute of Technology, where sense is spoken. We
good.
meet Hannelore Gerling Dunsmore, who I really like.
I really
she
liked
just sounds
her.
like she comes from money.
Do you think? I thought the opposite. I felt like she didn't, but I feel like she's such a cool cat.
Her name, Hannelore Gerling Dunsmore.
Yeah.
If you see that on a CV, I'm thinking, okay, you ride horses.
Yeah.
And that's what rich people do. She's an astrophysicist at Caltech, and it's so funny because we basically see her watching one of Mark Sargent's videos.
Yeah.
And she tells us that she first heard about flat earth in school, but it was in the context of like back in the day where people didn't know what they were talking about.
Which is same.
And then they discovered it was a globe.
Which is same.
So she's watching his flat earth videos because she was just curious, and she says,
and it's something.
and you can tell that she's just not here for it. Like,
Literally,
you can
she's
tell
not
she wants
with
to
the
laugh.
shits. Yeah.
She's not with the shit. She just thinks the fuck. So before, basically, one of the clues that Mark Sargent put out in this like flat Earth clues was that like if you look at the flight path of planes, yeah, it must be flat because none of the planes are going south.
What the fuck?
And none of them are traveling south. I don't understand how this matters anything.
I know what he's saying, but like, what the fuck are you talking about at the same time?
I mean, I know what he's saying, but then Hannelore goes on. She types flight tracker. She goes on it, and then she's like,
Yeah, what's this? What's this guy doing? Seems to be going south. Where are you going, buddy? Where are you going, friend?
"Where you going, friend?" Like, she has no time.
No time.
And then she's like,
This is a very easy test to perform.
Like, anybody could have done this. Like, because Mark
Anybody
was
could
talking
do
about
it.
how he was up for 40 days and 40 nights waiting for a flight or
"We're
something.
looking at the thing,"
And he never-
And
and
all
he-
that time, no one went south.
Literally, and he never confirmed whether anybody went south. He just said
He said that nobody went south.
Oh,
He said he
okay.
didn't see anybody go south.
Man, men just lie unprovoked.
Unprovoked. We meet all these physicists. They're talking about when they first heard about flat Earth, and they're all saying whatever. But one of them, his name is Scott Kelly, and he's a former NASA astronaut. And he was like,
First time I ever heard about the flat earthers was, I think, when I was in space last.
and like, it's just over the bullshit. Like, he literally is like, why am I here? Like, this is a waste of my time. Like, why? I've been to the space that you say doesn't exist. Like,
I've been there and I've seen it.
I've seen it.
Like, I've
with my
seen
own
it,
eyes.
literally. So what are you talking about?
I don't get it. Then we meet this guy called Nathan.
Oh my gosh.
He is a terrorist.
He's
actually
literally a terrorist. Like, lock him up. Like, literally.
Hey, and throw away the key. He's like reciting the states of America
And
while
doing
bouncing
what?
Like a ping pong
Tell the
ball
people-
off two hammers.
Okay, Thor.
I think what they're trying to do is like show that men can multitask and show that he's like a really smart guy. He talks about having a brain coach, and his brain coach is who tells him to look into flat Earth.
Okay, so first of all, what the fuck is a brain coach? Am I just dumb? Like, maybe I'm not...
Isn't that like an app? Like, isn't that like brain games?
Am I not smart enough to have one?
You can have a job out of anything.
It's true.
You can make a job out of anything.
That's true. And second of all, how good could this brain coach be if he's telling you to look into flat Earth? I'm assuming like a brain coach is meant to develop your brain. So
Your like cognitive abilities.
exactly.
Probably.
So why would this person be then telling you to look into something that's ridiculous?
Yeah.
So many unanswered questions.
So many unanswered questions. He gets into flat Earth because of this brain coach.
And everything he
unquote.
says just gets worse.
Everything he says gets worse.
Because
He says that they're hiding the truth because they don't want us to know anything.
And he says that...
The thing is that like, yeah, sorry, go on.
He says they made up dinosaurs to like...
Do you know what?
To buy into this whole thing that the world is like 16 billion years old.
And this is the thing, like, I love a good conspiracy theory, do you know what I mean? But then it comes a point where you snap back into reality and you're with it again.
Yeah,
do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Join us
yeah.
again. You're like, oh, ha, 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 that's funny. Imagine if that's true. But it's like, Nathan he's
he's
stays
in
there,
it.
like,
The snap
he's
never
like,
came.
the snap is yet to come. Like, literally, he was like,
They want people dumb, blind, deaf to the truth, So they can inject you with their vaccines.
Okay, so now we're talking about anti-vaccine on top
So
of
it's just,
your
but then
flat
but
earth.
then you have to think to yourself that like it can't stop. Do you know what I mean? Like if you think one thing is a conspiracy theory,
It's a snowball effect.
like you start to question all parts of reality. So everything,
like what is true? Are you even you at this point?
Like literally.
We get into that whole thing, especially when it comes to this other woman that we meet later. But we'll get into that. Nathan. Last thing about Nathan, right? Actually, no, two things.
I wonder if you say what I said.
He's attacking this NASA employee.
Fam.
Yeah? And then he's like, oh, NASA sounds like the Hebrew word nashar, which means to deceive. And like they sound really similar.
And he was asking the NASA guy, like,
why
does NASA mean deceive? And can you just imagine, like, it's 8:13...
NASA is an acronym, first of all. So what how, like...
It's 8:30 in the morning. You're just trying to get your oat milk latte and, like...
You don't even have your coffee yet, so you don't have the energy right now.
Quack is running up on you, asking you useless questions. Like, what are you talking about?
Almost like interrogating you.
Fam.
It's like, I understand that, like, Starbucks is, you know, you have free reign, do what you want, but, like, I don't have to interact with you. He's actually a terrorist.
This is why I need to arrest him. Those are terrorist activities.
Oh, another thing we need to arrest him for is the music. So he says that he listens to flat earth music. And
excuse me, he drives a Fiat 500.
So you know how it goes.
Are we not going to discuss that he drives a Fiat 500?
He goes, Fiat 500 Twitter, where you at? Nathan, we listen to the music. Nathan starts rapping. He's like, yeah, next level, ice cold, flat earth model in my bezel. That's exactly how it goes. That's exactly how it goes. I was
wish you could see my face right
now. You know what it reminds me of Cameron. You know Cameron from Love is Blind when he started rapping when he met
for Lauren's mum. That was horrific. I never want to see that again in my life. I never want to see that again. That's what it reminds
me of. It was the same level of sourcelessness.
Never ever.
Okay, so we're done with Nathan now, but like basically when I say the editors are shady, the last thing Nathan says to us is that he's met bare flat earthers and no, they're not all loons living in their mum's basements. And then it cuts to Mark Sargent,
who's coming out of his mum's basement.
He's coming.
This is why this is so shady.
It's so shady.
It's so shady.
And I feel like these men are deluded enough to think that like they could probably watch this and not see the shade and think that
it's just telling them to, because they're crazy. And like Mark definitely lives in his mum's basement, because even when he was in his room, his bed was literally like one single bed against the wall, and like you could sneeze and touch where his desk was. Like there was no space in that room. Where is your wardrobe, sis? Like where are your clothes? At your age, 45 years of age, single beds in your mum's room. Fam.
Yeah, it's a bit mad. It is a bit
I'm
mad.
not shaming anyone, but like if all this energy you're spending on flat earth, if you spent it like getting a job
on yourself,
because we come into the fact, which is how do they work, because of how much time they spend on this. It's ridiculous.
It's true. It's true. Probably an AdSense from YouTube. Briefly, Mark mentions they have flat earth dating sites because they can't date normal people.
And it just shows
like thank fuck.
If you're so far removed from society, like, and you can't,
and reality.
Fam.
So now we meet this woman called Patricia Steer.
Yeah.
And like, tell me what you think, but I think she looks like Janice Dickinson, but with red hair.
Yes. And she talks really...
You know Janice Dickinson from America's Next Top Model,
the
judge.
Yeah. She talks really breathy and sexy. Like, she's always
like
getting
she's trying
ready.
To force the sexy.
Yeah, to like have... I just...
It's like she's trying to be like, what's her name from Sex and the City? Samantha.
Yeah, she's like, I just don't know. My four cats and the earth is
so
flat.
annoying.
That's how she talks. She's so annoying. And she loves to play this dumb, like, bombshell, like, I'm dumb. And
but it's like you're only really a bombshell because of the community that you're in.
Yeah.
Like, that's only really what it is. Like, in the real world, you're not. And if you think about the kind of men, I'm sure that you would imagine are flat earth man them, yeah.
This woman is like...
surprised me. But she's out of their league.
Literally. She's like the Pamela Anderson of, like, flat earth society.
Yeah, exactly. So, she interviews flat earthers. That was her, like, gambit, her whole thing, her whole show on YouTube or whatever, or Facebook. I don't know what she's on now.
Yeah.
Long story short, Mark likes her. She's not on it. But they do a show together called The Secret Show.
Is that what the impression you got?
Yeah, she's not on it. She is. She seems like the kind of woman who likes men to like her.
I actually took it the other way. I took it that she really does like him, but he is one that's not, like, sure about their relationship.
No.
Yeah?
Okay, there's a bit later on where I'm sure you will change your mind.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure you will change your mind because there was That's it. Yeah. So there's a bit where Patricia goes to Houston to see Mark, and apparently she goes to kind of see if there's anything there, if anything could have developed. But Patricia ended up like being with someone else and moves to London for that person.
UK people,
and
can we
then
be a
moves
bit
back.
more strict about who we let into this country? I just feel like we're just letting anyone in now.
Yeah, and I don't think that Corona, when we recover, I don't think that should change the specific nature at which we allow people in or out.
I feel like it should be an immigration question. Do you believe the earth is flat? If you do not, please return to your home country.
No, if you do.
Oh, sorry, if you do, please return to your home country.
Okay, so this is why I believe, that Patricia's not on it and Mark is. This is my favourite part of the documentary, and the editors are shady as fuck, because we see a clip from their show, and like callers are calling in to be like, oh, hey, this is what I think, blah, blah, blah. And someone calls in and they're like, oh, y'all make a cute couple. And Mark is like, well, you know, there's a reason we've done this show as long as we have. And then Patricia's like,
we are a couple of friends.
And Mark dies internally. I'm sure of it. Do you not remember that bit?
I remember that bit, but I've read it completely differently. I processed it differently, because what I saw was they asked, and Patricia was going to say, well, and I was thinking she was going to say, well, yes. But then Mark was like, no. Didn't you hear him say no?
No, because I feel like he's saying that because he doesn't want to seem like, because if Patricia had said no and he seemed on it, then he seems like a dickhead. Do you get what I mean? But it's like taking control of like...
But then
I don't think...
Okay, so she said this whole thing that I have a lot of love for him. I don't know if it's romantic love.
It's not romantic or platonic.
Yeah, she was like, this love. I felt.
It's a love. Basically, they both are flat earthers, and I think that bonds you
in a different way.
Yeah. Regardless, in a different way. I don't think she's on it, fam. Do you think he would be living at home with his mum if she was on it?
Yes, that is my answer. And
nah, man.
Okay.
She's not on it. She don't rate him. Okay, you meet a guy and you both love...
Why do we never agree on the same thing we watched?
It's like we watched two completely different shows.
I literally processed it the other way. But...
Anyway, you lot watch it, It's on Netflix. Behind the Curve. When you watch it, you understand that I'm correct. But yeah, would you be attracted to a man who lived... Even if you liked him, then you find out he's 45 living in a single bed and his mum. You can't even go to his house and do shit.
Yeah, but she believes the earth is flat. So that then debunks all normal, like, dating ritual. Literally, like, they don't think like we do.
Okay, so Hannah Law is back. And she's talking about imposter syndrome.
This is one of my favourite bits.
Which is a phenomenon where the more you know about a topic, the more you feel like you aren't actually an expert.
And I actually... Honestly, imposter syndrome, like, literally, like, I remember when I first started working and I qualified, even till today, like, it's kind of like, right, do you even know what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Like, when patients ask you something, or colleagues ask you something, like, you're just kind of like, what, who you talking to, like, do you know what I mean? But, so she says that, and then she goes on to say...
On the flip side, there's something called the Dunning-Kruger effect.
And we basically learned that this is when people who don't have expertise about something, they have a false confidence that they are an expert in something.
So basically when you're stupid.
Of imposter syndrome.
It's basically when you don't do any research on fuck all, but you wake up in the morning and you say to yourself, hey, guess what? I know everything about this thing.
You chat shit, basically, literally.
Basically.
So now we're at this flat earth meetup, because that's a thing.
Yeah.
It's led by this guy called Bob Nodal.
Oh my God.
And
I hate this guy.
We find out
he has 50,000 jobs, at least. Fam.
At least that's more than Mark has.
Fuck me, mate.
We find out that even within this flat earth community, there are discrepancies. Like, so Mark Sargent thinks that there's a dome over the flat earth. So imagine like just a flat circle, not a globe, just a circle. And then you've got like all the countries and stuff scattered along there, sort of in the middle. Mark Sargent believes that there's a dome over the top.
How is there a dome
like
and nobody
sky.
has reached the like end of this dome?
The thing is, dome, no dome. If there is a flat earth here, where is the end of the earth?
This is the point. Like, this is the point.
Because even they have the countries on there. Like, I think his thinking is that like the ocean, because you have the ocean and all the countries are like in the oceans. And then, like, the end of the circle, the outermost bit of the circle is ocean, not country. So, therefore, you can't walk to the end of the country and be like, oh, I'm at the end of the earth, because it's ocean.
But then you should at least be able to buy a boat. All these cruises we go on. Fam.
Yeah, maybe that's what the Bermuda Circle is. Bermuda Triangle. What's it called? Bermuda Circle.
Triangle.
The triangle. Them, man. So... some people believe in the globe, but then there's this guy who believes in the infinite model, which is without a dome. And his theory is that, like, the curvature of the sky hasn't been proved, and surely if there was a dome over the top, then the sky would curve. Like, the sky would be lower in some parts than other parts.
Seek employment, please.
So I seek counselling.
Employment and counselling. Jobs offer counselling. Do that. Gosh.
2 in 1. So we learned about this guy called Math Powland or Powers or something.
Ooh.
This is the craziest man of all time.
This is the Joe Exotic of this, like... I literally said, he's Joe Exotic and... what's his face? Mark is Carol Baskin. Literally.
Yeah. Oh,
literally, that God. Is the dynamic.
The only difference is...
He didn't kill anybody.
Well... Joe has always hated Carol. No spoilers. Joe has always hated Carol.
Yeah.
But, like, these two were actually cool before.
Yeah.
So, yeah, his real name is not Math Powerland, but that's his name now. And he claims to be the original flat earther, as if people weren't talking about flat earth from Kingdom Come. So they were cool before, but this math guy didn't want math, as in, like, mathematics, did not want to do interviews. Like, he kind of wanted to be, like, aloof and, like, you know, bougie. And so... Yeah, exactly. So when they would ask him to do interviews, he wouldn't. So then people started asking Mark to do the interviews. And so Mark started doing the interviews, Mark blew, and then this math guy got jealous. Mm-hmm. And so he started making videos attacking Mark, saying that he works for the government and Warner Brothers.
And that his name isn't his name, and that he...
And we know that Mark doesn't work. So
yeah, exactly. We know he's unemployed. That man is clearly unemployed. What are you talking about?
He's unemployment poster child. So we never actually meet... Math.
And we get on-screen text.
Clips of his videos. Yeah.
That tells us why we didn't meet him.
Do you know what he says? He says he demanded $5,000, 12% of the profits, creative control, a guarantee that he would be featured in 25 to 50% of the film.
Oh my God.
And then that the directors have to say that Mark Sargent is secretly a Warner Brothers executive. And then after that, they say we were unable to meet his demands.
You can't make this up. But do you know what? Yeah, all jokes aside, like, can we get this guy on meds? Because I feel like we're clearly seeing someone who's on the brink of a psychotic break. These videos are literally exactly like Joe Exotic's. Like, I was like,
just shouting.
I literally had to check the name of the documentary I was watching, because I was like, am I watching Tiger King again? Like, it was exactly the same, like the shouting and the ranting,
just erotic.
And Mark is literally Carol Baskin. Like,
is the word erotic? It's not
erratic.
Erotic is sexy.
Yeah.
Erratic.
You horny toad.
Trust me.
And Carol, like, Mark is literally Carol, because he's just like chilled, but you can see he's batshit crazy as well. But he's more chilled.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you don't root for anyone.
Yeah.
Like,
and you know what? I said he didn't kill anybody, but he fucking killed my brain cells listening to him. So they're both the same.
He killed my hopes.
Teardrop on both of their eyes. Fucking
honestly, it's actually funny because, like, everybody's mad.
Literally,
like, everybody's mad.
It's
so,
just
like,
different gradients, like
different gradients of mad, or like different degrees or different like times of madness.
Yeah,
Patricia Steer, which is the Janice Dickinson
that
woman,
shit crazy,
trying to be sexy. She is mad. She says she doesn't believe 9/11 happened. She doesn't believe the Boston bombings happened, and she wouldn't believe any of it unless it happened to her. And God forbid it happens to her. But if it needs to happen to her for her to understand, then I'm not saying it should happen to her. I'm just not saying that. You know what I mean?
There will always
it's
be
mad, like,
death and war.
And then she's like, she says that people have made conspiracy theories about her, saying that she works for the government and that she's a flat earth honeypot.
And she traps men.
Brought in to bring men to flat earth and then steer them away because her last name is Patricia Steer.
But can I just say as well, for someone who, like, doesn't believe anything, she sure has had a lot of work done. So she's obviously had, like, Botox, because her face...
As in, she's not that opposed to science.
This is what I mean. Her face looks like she couldn't even blink.
It's very Janice Dickinson vibes.
She's definitely had lip fillers. Her tits do not look real. They look very...
Yep, I'd agree.
So you don't believe in science, you don't believe in all these theories, but you lay down and you let a doctor inject you and cut you open. Did you not think... they could be putting, because she said that she thinks she's an anti-vacciner. Is that what they call it? Anti-vaxxers. And she believes there's something she was talking about, the crop, whatever. I don't know what the fuck she was. So she thinks, and then she thinks there's stuff on the food as well. But you let someone open you up and inject you with all sorts of plastic, so you could look at.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And this is why, like, sometimes I wonder, are they actually crazy, or do they do this because they're narcissists who love like the attention, and then they unfortunately
I wanted to feel that they are
unfortunately they
or
drag in
uncovered something.
daft people, because you can't really have that many conspiracy theories but then you go and get plastic surgery. It doesn't add up. If I was that much of a conspiracy theorist, I would probably be naked in my house, like eating only food I've grown in my garden.
The house, a little shed that I built. But the thing is that like everyone's mad. Like everyone is mad, because she says that they also think she's part of the CIA because her name is Patricia, which ends in CIA. And so there's a bit where I literally, for a second, I had hope, because she's aware like that you can't prove rumors wrong. Like you can't disprove something. You have to prove the opposite is true. Do you get what I mean? Like, how do you prove something is false without proving that the other thing is true? And it's just madness. Like for a moment, I literally thought, oh my God, yeah, like she
has sense, yeah.
Because she's like, oh, anybody can believe what they want about me.
I wonder if in their hearts, people who do that know they're lying, or are they so conspiratorial that they actually believe it?
And then she's like,
then it makes me worry about maybe things I believe in. Am I like another version of that?
And I literally was like, oh my God.
There were some times in this doc I had hope.
And then she was like,
but I know I'm not.
And it's like, but you are them.
They are you. Exactly. You're one and one, two sides of the same coin, but you're saying, but I'm not. What do you have to prove that you're not batshit crazy? Like, you didn't do any investigation to check if you're crazy.
And this is the thing, is that, like, you know for a fact, yeah, they say that her eyes, like, shapeshift and stupid shit like that. She knows that she's not a lizard person, which is what they say as well. So you know that because you are the person that you are. So you are aware that people can chat shit and it's not true.
So why can't you do the same with the flat earth? And like, this is what is so dangerous about...
And you don't believe 9/11 happened. Literally. I'm sorry.
And this is what is so dangerous about this thing, because, like, before I watched this documentary, I must say, like, I just assumed people who thought the earth was flat. Like, it's kind of like when you say, like, I personally don't really believe in taking vitamins. That's, like, one thing. Not that I think there's anything wrong with it, but I just...
It's not a conspiracy. You just would rather not take them.
Yeah, not that I'd rather not. It's not like I think, the government's injecting me. But I just feel like it's not something I make a conscious effort to do, because I feel like our ancestors lived without them. Our bodies... how
did they live? What was and people have deficiencies, which is why they take vitamins.
So anyways,
it's like saying, oh, you don't have enough of this, here
so
take some of this.
That's my own little batshit crazy thing. But I just like, I can say it to you now and we move on, but I never knew that, like, people who said they believed the earth was flat, it was like this deep. And it's like
it's a religion.
It's literally a religion. And it's like, the issue with this that I've deeped is that I can say, okay, I'm not big on vitamins. Like, I'll give my kids vitamins, but I personally don't make a conscious effort to take them. But, like, that's where the buck ends. But when you're, like, a flat earther, it goes into, like, everything. So nothing, like, you literally, the issue is they lose touch with reality. Like, their version of reality is very scary.
But the thing is that to think that, because the things are so different, like, the earth being a globe and the earth being flat, it's almost like just a fact. It's like saying, oh, I don't believe in gravity.
But, like, the mic drops.
It's just, what I'm saying, that it's because it's just what they're thinking is so much deeper than, oh, I just don't believe in vitamins or whatever. It's just like, I don't know, like, they go into it a little bit later, but yeah. Anyway, we see, like, these two talking heads. These ones believe that the earth is a globe.
Like normal people.
Yes. And they say...
So the issue is not necessarily lack of intelligence.
It's not about being educated or uneducated or smart or dumb. It really isn't.
I think it's sometimes miseducation.
It's about miseducation. Shout out Lauryn Hill. But some people, like, are educated to mistrust authority, and this leads them to just thinking the opposite of what the consensus is. So it's not even just about, like, oh, they're stupid people. Some of them are stupid, I'm sure, but also some people who believe the earth is a globe are also stupid.
Yeah.
It's just that some people, the conspiracy theory is almost as if, like, I feel better than this person. I don't trust authority. Oh, you want me to think this, therefore I'm just going to think the opposite.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of vibe, yeah. Bob is back, your bestie. And he's just like, how many times do you have to be proved wrong before you realise?
But wait, don't you find it scary? Like, even his lower third is like, he's an engineer. Like, he's an engineer. How are you an engineer in a flat earther? Like, engineering has a lot to do with science.
And it's so funny because, like, he's an engineer, so he's able to carry out the experiments that we're about to talk about. But he's a flat earther, so he's unable to accept the
results.
Conclusions. Yeah, the results.
But we speak about why they do that, though, because the way they experiment...
which is really interesting.
Yeah.
So they do this experiment, and it's long as hell, but basically they find a 15-degree drift, which indicates the Earth is not flat. Why, how, when, what,
I don't
where,
know. That goes over my
but
head.
that's the point, innit? That's the bottom line. And so he says, oh, obviously we were taken aback by that. So they weren't expecting that 15-degree drift. If the world was flat, that wouldn't have happened. So because it happened, the world must be round. That's what I gained from it with my limited knowledge of all this stuff. So there's this guy, Tim, who is a science writer. I think it's kind of cute in like a nerdy way. He had like the brunette hair. And anyway, so he says that with science, you have a hypothesis, and then you experiment, and then you see what happens, and then that's your result, that's your conclusion. But with these guys, they have a conclusion, so they have an answer that they want to achieve. And then they're trying to design an experiment that proves what they've said, which is dumb. It's so dumb.
It's so dumb.
As an engineer, like, you should know better than this. An experiment, like, he literally was saying science is just you having an idea, getting a result. It's just the means by which you get to that point. Science is not anything more than that. So if you have decided, I want to prove the Earth is flat, and so you're like, oh, what experiment is going to help us get to that conclusion? That's not how an experiment works.
And that's not science. It's just you feeding
GCSE.
your own fucking ego, literally.
Exactly, to be able to prove or to be able to disprove.
And what
then
then he was
Earth
saying is
round.
that they because they're doing that, they pick apart like any results they get that
that doesn't coincide
with what they're
or to
saying.
the contrary,
they remove that, or they pick it apart, or they find a way to debunk that, even though it's like factual. Like, it's so wild. Like, it's like their brains are upside down.
Round and round. And so in Nodal and the Mandem, like, they try another method, and this still doesn't work. So this is twice now that they've tried this thing, it doesn't work. So then we see a group of guys, and I'm sure they're all part of this experiment, and we hear Bob Nodal say that the experiment isn't looking good at this point.
We don't want to blow this, you know?
Right.
I mean, we got $20,000 in this freaking gyro. But yeah, if we dumped what we found right now, it'd be bad.
And so the gyro is basically the thing that they're trying to use to do the experiment. And he's like, oh, what I just told you was confidential. He says this on camera. He's mic'd up. We hear it clear as day.
Fam.
And it's like, what they're trying to do, boys and girls, is force it.
Literally. And
they're trying to force the result.
Literally.
And the thing is that, like, they've already done this experiment like 3 different times, and it gave them all the same result. All the same result. It just wasn't the result that they wanted.
My question is even who. So we really have some high and powerful people in this society, because who else can afford a $20,000 thing? This also leads me. But to be fair,
all of them probably pull their money together. They could.
Cool, but to be fair, we do learn that some celebrities are flat earthers as well, and not just like celebrities that in passing. Like, these are big people. So the world is a scary place, man.
I don't want to be here anymore. I do want to live, just not here anymore.
Yeah.
So they have a diagram now which explains to us how this new experiment works. We don't really care to go into it, but there's basically lasers, and I've saved you like 5 minutes of your life.
Literally, that's it. There are lasers, and they're measuring the lasers, and that will tell you if it's Earth is flat. Yeah,
and they're basically trying to prove that there's no curvature to the Earth, making Anyway, we get back to that.
Please,
but now we're talking about a solar eclipse, which is when the sun and the moon and the Earth are all aligned. And I suppose that can only really happen if they're all floating around in space, because how can they all be aligned if they're flat? But who am I? What do I know?
Yeah, because their argument is that the Earth and the moon, the sun and the moon, like, are almost on like this.
They're lights,
like almost like.
So imagine it. It's like imagine a lamppost going straight up here, really, really high to the sky, because like it's the Earth.
Yeah.
And then imagine like it's like a T. So like there's like 2 branches once you get to the top, like a capital T.
Yeah.
And then one has the light, which is like the sunlight, and then one has a light, which is like the moonlight. And this light spins around slowly. Which
is why different parts are night and day at different times.
Exactly. That is their belief.
Literally. Can you imagine? Who do you think designed all of this? I need to ask.
How often do they change the bulb?
And
or what kind of bulb are they using?
Where is the pole in like? Where is that pole?
Yeah, exactly. Where is the pole?
That's holding up these lights.
In which country is the pole? Because I'm sure that would be a tourist attraction.
Fam, I hate it here. I hate why?
Honestly. Why? And so they're saying to him, like, okay, so obviously this eclipse couldn't happen if the Earth was flat, right? And Mark is like explaining it as like a display system.
Yeah, like when she asked, so when he went to this eclipse and he was like, oh, he loved it. He lapped it all up. Yeah. And then when he came back and he was talking to Patricia on their talk show, and she was like, so how was the eclipse? He was like, it was like watching a movie effect that you didn't expect.
Yeah, like special effects.
Like, he was trying to belittle it. But no, like, explain to us scientifically how the moon was able to eclipse the sun if it's this spinning lamppost. And he said this dumb thing about the sun eclipsed itself. What the fuck does that even mean?
And in your model, there is really no sun. There is just the light.
This guy, you are going to jail. I wish you could arrest him. You can arrest people for spreading misinformation on WhatsApp. Can we please arrest these people? Because this is so bad.
They've gone far beyond WhatsApp, boy. 85,000 subscribers, fam.
Fam, this is WhatsApp aunties. This is what you'll develop into if you don't stop your bullshit now. Because we laugh, but
they'll never figure out YouTube, so we're safe.
We laugh, but they're just as bad. Like with the misinformation.
So we're back to Nodell and the laser experiment, and long story short, it is not working. Okay, it's not working. We see like these non-flat earthers, which make a good point. Like they're basically saying that calling flat earthers crazy and looking down on them like makes them further their belief that they're right. Yeah, because they just don't like us, so then they don't want to agree with us. Yeah. So how can they then come back and be like, oh yeah, you're right? So maybe we shouldn't call them crazy. Apologies, flat earthers.
Yeah, it was a real kumbaya moment.
Yeah, it was. It's coming to an end now. And so all throughout this documentary, they were talking about the first annual Flat Earth International Convention. And we're finally here. So it's sold out. There are around 1,000 people that's supposed to be there. It's kind of like DragCon or Comic-Con or BeautyCon. It's like that kind of thing. And then remember the Math Powland guy.
Joe Exotic.
Is back. Yeah, Joe Exotic, he's back. So he was invited to the convention, but he declined. Yeah. And then he makes videos like that come out 2 days before the convention saying that it's not really a flat earth convention. It's a military play using Hollywood assets. And quite a few people took his side and they didn't show up. So they didn't get as many people coming.
I'm sorry, but I'm not a scientist. So it's not, the responsibility isn't on me to bring these people back into the folds of society, but they are batshit crazy.
It's the thing is that like even within the flat earth sector, yeah, there's madness everywhere. Literally. So you can be a Patricia Steer stan, you can be a Mark Sargent stan, you can be a Matt Powell stan, crazy. And you can all hate each other but still be on flat. Like it's just mad.
But it's like a religion though. That's how it is. Like you have people who
I
are
was
Christians
really disappointed.
That hate Catholic. Why?
Yeah, true. That's true. I was really disappointed because I saw black people in this crowd.
Yes. I only saw two. But there was one that really annoyed me because he actually spoke. Like
he spoke,
yes, and he kept speaking, but then he had braids, and I think that tells you everything you need to know about the kind of black guy he was.
Chile. So basically, everyone is praising Mark Sargent. Like it's basically a Mark Sargent conference.
I found this really disturbing because I think this was the bit where I looked at him and I looked at him like rah, because the whole show been like this stupid guy.
He does it for.
Literally, this stupid guy that lives in his mum's basement. Blah blah blah. But then I looked at him and I was like, first of all, I don't even think he believes this bullshit anymore. I think deep down he knows that it's bullshit.
He's just too deep into
it. He's a king. He's a god amongst men. Why would he stop? Literally. Like, why would he stop? Like, he's in... And because he was doing that whole thing about, like, the Truman Show. Yeah. So if you guys haven't watched it, you should. But long story short, it's good. It's really, really good. It has Jim Carrey in it. And it's basically about this guy that's living this life and he starts clocking weird things. And then he just discovers that, like, his life is like a movie set. So he's on a boat, like, and then he reaches the end of the, like, studio.
The earth.
And he's like, what the fuck? So he has the option to, like, continue living his life or walk out of the door. And like
don't tell me what happens. Oh no, he does walk out, doesn't he? I've seen it.
Yeah. And like it's like, what does he have to live for? Like in this place, so he walks out. So they asked Mark like a similar question. Like, okay, you're saying blah blah blah, but like if there was a mayor who had, like Mark was saying, if there was a mayor who had like women and cars and this and that, he probably wouldn't have walked out because he has a life. And then the documentarian guy was like, but you're the mayor. And then he was like, yeah, I probably couldn't leave because if I left, they'd be like, oh.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just that shit. It's like, he's so far gone, he can't come back to normal society because you've made all this noise. Your face is everywhere.
And this is the thing. And they say this, like, the one that talking head says that, like, it's not a big deal for them to believe what they want. Like, by being a flat earther, you're not hurting anyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not actually hurting anyone. But it's just that, like they said before, they have flat earth dating sites. Like, your whole life becomes flat earth. Yeah. People lose friends and family over their beliefs. So how can they now turn around and be like, no, I don't believe this anymore? Yeah. They might lose their friends, their family, their new friends and family. Like, their old ones might not take them back. Like, what are they going to be accepted by society again?
Because even literally, don't you remember when they were interviewing like this whole bunch of people who were flat earthers, and people literally have lost their whole families over this shit? How this is what I mean. I never knew it was this deep.
This is the thing. And I think it doesn't have to be, like, I can just believe that it's like the earth is flat, and just go about living my life. But it just seems as though maybe it's not the majority, but maybe it's just the people that we've encountered in this documentary. Once you believe that the earth is flat, then you have to denounce all of everything, and then you have to preach
it's
flat
true.
earth till
And
you
imagine
die.
like you're just going for Thanksgiving dinner and your dad's there saying that 9/11 didn't happen. And it's like, what the fuck? Like,
Can't do
bro,
it,
I
yeah.
just came for like the turkey and the sweet potato pie. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's all mad. It's all mad.
During the convention thing, they have a Q&A session. People are asking dumb questions. And then we get this kid. And when I say kid, he's actually kid. He's like 12 years
He's
old.
12. He says he's 12.
I was wondering, how high do you think the dome is?
And so Mark asked him how old he is. We learned that he's 12. And everyone starts clapping because they're thinking, oh my God, this kid, wow, I
He's
wish
a
I
free
knew about
thinker.
flat earth at this
Yeah.
age. Yeah, exactly. Like, and this bit kind of made me sad because it's like so peak because you can't choose your parents. Like,
This is what I
that
mean.
kid-
It was such a sad moment because it's like that kid is going to be misinformed for the rest of their life.
Yeah. And then when he finally comes to and realizes that, like, my parents are chatting shit and whatever other conspiracies they come up with, because I'm sure that flat earth is not. You don't just believe in flat earth and nothing else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I feel like it comes with everything else. He's probably going to have to lose his parents and that.
Literally.
But yeah, so Mark
This is why
never
everyone
actually
shouldn't be
answers the
allowed
question.
to have kids. Sorry.
Yeah, but you can't control it, but
Yeah.
But yeah, Mark never actually answers the question. Like, he doesn't answer the question. He just, everyone claps for him and they're like, oh, well done, this kid, blah, blah, blah. Then he just moves on. Because he doesn't know how high the dome is.
Because
there
it
is no
doesn't
dome.
exist. The limit does not exist.
The limit does not exist. Literally. Okay, guys, last scene. We're back to the experiment.
No, but can we just say he reads this letter out as well? During
What letter?
Mark, he reads this letter out that he received. And it's basically from someone who's saying that, like, you know, he's a grandfather and he's like his grandkids are third.
Yeah, he's converted
Can
all
you
his
imagine
people,
third generation flat earthers?
earthers.
Shoot me now.
There shouldn't be that many.
Fam,
There
it shouldn't be that many. It hasn't even... Stop it. And basically he's saying that, like, his kid went to school and then the teacher was teaching. Like, can you just imagine you're just trying to teach a bunch of kids and she's like, oh yeah, like, so the earth is round. And like 1/3 of the class was like, no, it's flat. I was just
And you're like, if you want to pass this exam, the earth is round.
Exactly. Do you know what it is? Yeah. This is why America is just a degenerative, like, society in general. Literally, like, there's so much...
We love our American listeners.
We love you guys so much, but, like, there's so much...
And we know we're not talking about you.
No.
Not all Americans.
Not all. Not all blacks. Not all whites. Not all Karens. But yeah, nah. I don't know what it is in the water that allows these things to happen. To be fair, there was one person from the convention from Ireland, but that's Ireland, not England, so it's a different kettle of fish.
It's not London.
It's not
and
London,
that's all
I
I'm
care
claiming.
about. Yeah.
So the last scene, the experiment, they've not given up. They've tried again. I think people try less with their marriages than they've done with this experiment.
Fam.
They're trying again. So they explain that if the earth is flat, then they should be able to see, this is really simplified, they should be able to see the light that their friend is holding from like a long way away.
But they're passing it through things. So it should all be straight. It's all straight, all the same height, passing it through a certain hole. And they
should be able to see it.
Yeah.
And can you guess what? They can't see it.
And that's where
and then
the
it just ends. It's so shady.
It's so shady. But then it
just ends.
In the closing sequence, you see little like clips of them trying to debunk how even though the lights, they couldn't see it, it doesn't mean anything. And then in conclusion, the test is not conclusive, is what they say. Like, so we see these little clips throughout the closing scene. And it just further proves the point of that even when the facts are there in front of them, instead of them to be like, oh, this thing we believe in is bullshit. Yeah.
It's less about the earth being flat and just more about the earth not being round.
Yep.
It's basically just being able to like debunk that.
Yes.
As in what is the norm. They could have said the earth is a triangle. Like that's, do you know what I mean? It's just about debunking what? But boy, imagine if they're right. That would be so funny. Like imagine if we find out.
I did have thoughts, but I obviously know they're not. But I did have thoughts where I was like, what if they're actually right? But
it'd be so funny. Like imagine if they are right.
They're not.
They're not, but imagine. But yeah, guys, the next documentary that we are going to do is called Silicon Sex, Men with Dolls.
Ooh.
Ooh la la.
I like
this. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm going to play the trailer for you at the end. In the meantime, between time, you can catch us on Instagram at 2girls1doc.
Yep.
Twitter at 2girls1doc.
Yep.
And Facebook at 2girls1doc.
Yep.
That's the number 2 and the number 1. And then I'm on Instagram at Miss Beady. And Twitter is the same.
And I am on Instagram at 4ends with 2_ and Twitter as well, 4ends, but that's just 1_. So, yes.
Yes. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
And this is the trailer for Silicon Sex, Men with Dolls. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know that Sarah is manufactured from steel and TPE plastic. But when I look at her, I see something more than the sum of her parts. I've gone from sharing experiences with a real girlfriend to sharing experiences with a synthetic one. I guess I'm creating a synthetic family